So, what I'm going to talk about right now is the currency exchange market. It's not that hard. It's definitely going to be harder for you at home. And I'll try to put some videos other than just mine. But what I want to explain is that the value of our currency, that's the dollar bills, when you go to another country, Mexico, China, Japan, whatever, our currency is worth a certain amount of their currency. So the dollar may be worth 15 pesos on one day. So if you go over and you give them $100, they'll give you 1,500 pesos. If it's 15 pesos per dollar and they come over here and they give the bank 15 pesos, they'll receive a dollar. Now, when countries trade with each other, the country that is exporting, the country that's selling goods, wants to be paid in their own currency, right? And so if we are buying a bunch of crap from Japan, we're buying a bunch of, Sony PlayStations, I think it's Sony, then the Japanese want to be paid in yen. So all of these big companies that have lots of PlayStations to sell, Walmart and Amazon and Best Buy, when they buy from Japan, they have to give Japan yen, not dollars, but yen. So in doing so, it becomes important that banks have lots of foreign currency to pay other international companies. So the biggest banks in the world, all over the world, in every major city, including Lexington, big companies that trade overseas have to have access to foreign currency. So all of those banks put together, all of that foreign currency, and all of these banks put together is called the International Foreign Exchange Market. Okay? And the value of the dollar or the value of the yen in Japan or the value of the pound in Britain or the euro in Europe or whatever, the peso in Mexico. Actually, there's a lot of pesos in Latin America. There are a lot of countries that have a dollar. Canada has a dollar. Australia has a dollar. There's dollars. Now, each one of them is worth different stuff. But all of those currency values aren't based on gold or anything. They're based on the supply and demand of those currencies in the foreign exchange market, not in our market. The value of the dollar compared to Japan or Mexico or Europe is based on the supply and demand of the dollar and how much money is being supplied and demanded in the international foreign exchange market. Okay, it has nothing to do with how wealthy we are. I mean, it does, but the amount is less about that. Daisy's here to say hello again. Everyone say hello to Daisy. So it's a lot more about supply and demand of currency on this market. So when we show you this, and when I show you the supply and demand of how this works, I want you to understand we're not doing the supply and demand in currency in our country, right? Not how much supply of money we have in our banks. It's how much is the supply and demand of the dollar in the international foreign exchange market. How is that price compared to supply and demand of other currencies in the foreign exchange market? Okay, so before I get to actually showing you this and graphing it, I want you to understand that there are all these banks in the world: Tokyo, London, New York, Chicago, Philly, all of Lexington. All of them have access to tons of foreign currency. And the supply and demand of those currencies determine the value of the other currencies relative to each other. So if the demand for the dollar goes up, if people want to start buying a lot more American crap, then that means that our currency will be worth more compared to other currencies. Not necessarily in America, but compared to other currencies outside of America. Okay? So the best way to do it, and I'm going to be showing you these supply and demand This is the supply and demand of euros and the supply and demand of dollars on the international foreign exchange market. What I do, just to make things easier, I put a big bank in the middle, in between these two things, in these two markets. And this is the amount of currency in the international foreign exchange market. It says FX Bank. That's foreign exchange bank. And instead of drawing, 5,000 of them, it's easier just to think of them as one big market where all currencies are going to go. Okay? That's what this is going to be like. But this video is just so you know that the value of the dollar compared to the euro, the pound, the peso, the yen, the won, the ruble, the rupee, whatever, all of that is based on the supply and demand of all of those currencies plus American currency in the international foreign exchange market. Okay, that's what I want you to know going in before we graph any of it. So I'm going to explain this now like I did. I'm going to show you how to graph it. I'm going to show you another somebody else doing it so you can see from a different perspective. And then I'm going to walk you through some of the homework before I give it to you.